On December 2, 2015, the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California, became the site of a horrific act of terrorism. A married couple, Syed Rizwan Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, perpetrated a mass shooting and an attempted bombing during a San Bernardino County Department of Public Health training event and Christmas party. Tragically, the attack resulted in the loss of 14 lives, with an additional 22 individuals suffering severe injuries. Syed Rizwan Farouk. Farouk was born in Chicago, Illinois. He was a U.S. citizen with Pakistani immigrant parents. Growing up, Farouk faced difficulties within his family, particularly witnessing his father's violent behavior towards his mother. Despite these challenges, he pursued his education and graduated from La Sierra High School in Riverside, California, a year ahead of schedule in 2004. He pursued higher education at California State University, San Bernardino, earning a bachelor's degree in environmental health around 2009 or 2010. Seeking further specialization, he briefly enrolled in the graduate program for environmental engineering at California State University, Fullerton in 2014. However, he did not complete the program. During this time, Farouk had a profile on the dating website imeelap.com, where he mentioned engaging in backyard target practice as a hobby. According to a family lawyer, he would also visit firing ranges on his own. Farouk worked for the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health as a food inspector. He held the position for 5 years, starting as a seasonal employee from July to December 2010. Recognizing his skills and potential, the department hired him as an environmental health specialist trainee on January 28, 2012. Eventually, Farouk became a permanent employee on February 8, 2014. Colleagues described him as quiet, polite, and lacking any obvious grudges. According to accounts from relatives and colleagues, Farouk was a devout follower of the Sunni Muslim faith. He made multiple trips to Saudi Arabia, including a trip to complete the Hajj in 2013. Mustafa Kuko, the director of the Islamic Center of Riverside, stated in an interview with the New York Times that Farouk attended prayers at the mosque twice a day. The Times also noted that Farouk appeared exceptionally devout and kept a certain distance from fellow worshippers. Interestingly, during this period, he never engaged in political discussions. However, after his marriage in 2014, Farouk abruptly ceased attending the mosque. Tashfeen Malik was born in Pakistan and later moved to Saudi Arabia, where she spent a significant portion of her life. Malik's move to Saudi Arabia may have been influenced by family or personal circumstances, but the specifics are not widely known. Malik pursued studies in pharmacology at Bahauddin Zakaria University in Multan, Pakistan. She embarked on the program in 2007 and successfully completed her studies, graduating in 2012. During her time in Multan, Malik was a student at the local branch of the Al-Huda International Seminary, an exclusively female religious academy network. The seminary, founded in 1994, has multiple locations across Pakistan and branches in the United States and Canada. Al-Huda is associated with the Wahhabi sect of Sunni Islam. According to available school records, Malik enrolled in an 18-month Quranic studies program at Al-Huda on April 17, 2013. However, her tenure at the seminary was relatively short-lived, as she left on May 3, 2014, citing her intention to get married. While she expressed an interest in completing the course through correspondence, there is no evidence to suggest that she followed through with that plan. Her time in Saudi Arabia played a crucial role in her eventual connection with Farouk. The two met online while Farouk was in Saudi Arabia for his pilgrimage. Their relationship developed, leading to their marriage in Saudi Arabia in 2014. After their marriage, Malik relocated to California to join Farouk. The couple's wedding took place in Riverside, California, and their union was officially recorded on a U.S. marriage certificate dated August 16, 2014. Malik entered the United States using a Pakistani passport and a K-1 visa, also known as a fiancé visa. These types of visas undergo thorough screening processes, as stated by a spokesperson from the State Department. In September 2014, Farouk completed Malik's application for permanent residency, commonly referred to as a green card, on her behalf. Subsequently, in July 2015, Malik was granted a conditional green card, which indicates that the couple had to provide evidence of the legitimacy of their marriage. As part of the visa application process with the State Department and the green card application, Malik submitted her fingerprints and underwent 3 extensive national security and criminal background screenings. These screenings utilized databases from the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department. Additionally, Malik went through 2 in-person interviews, the first with a consular officer in Pakistan and the second with an immigration officer in the United States during her green card application. No indications of irregularities or suspicious activities were found in the records of Malik's interview with the consular officer in Pakistan. During his testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee on December 9, 2015, FBI Director James Comey stated that the FBI's investigation revealed Syed Rizwan Farook and Tashfeen Malik to be homegrown violent extremists who drew inspiration from foreign terrorist organizations. Comey further noted that Farook and Malik had engaged in conversations about jihad and martyrdom before their engagement, dating back to late 2013. The couple reportedly spent over a year preparing for the attack, which included engaging in target practice and making arrangements for their child and Farook's mother. While the investigation indicated that Farook and Malik had been radicalized and potentially influenced by foreign terrorist organizations, Comey emphasized that there was no evidence suggesting that they were directed by any specific group or affiliated with a larger network or cell. On the morning of the attack, Farook and Malik left their 6-month-old daughter with Farook's mother, informing her that the two were going to a doctor's appointment. Farook, employed as a health inspector by the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health, participated in a departmental gathering held at the banquet room of the Inland Regional Center. The event initially commenced as a regular semi-annual meeting and training session for all staff members, transitioning later into a holiday party and luncheon organized by the department. There was a total of 91 invited guests, with 75 to 80 people stated to have been in attendance. Farook made his entrance at the departmental event around 8:30 a.m. and departed around 10:30 a.m., leaving behind a backpack on a table. Throughout the event, colleagues noted that Farook remained relatively silent, and there were observations of him frequently checking his phone before his departure. Additionally, he participated in taking photographs alongside other co-workers during the gathering. Just before 11 a.m., the event went on an unscheduled break due to a technical issue. At 10:58 a.m., Farook and Malik, armed with 2 .223 caliber semi-automatic rifles and 2 9mm pistols, opened fire outside the building, killing 2 people. A minute later, Farook entered the building and began firing at the individuals present, followed closely by Malik. Both were wearing ski masks and donned black tactical gear, including load-bearing vests containing magazines and ammunition. However, they did not wear ballistic or bulletproof vests. The entire shooting spree lasted approximately 2 to 3 minutes, during which the two discharged over 100 bullets before making their escape. Amidst the chaos, many attendees managed to flee the room and seek shelter in other areas of the building. Those who remained took cover under tables or sought refuge in bathrooms, closets, and cupboards. At one point, a bullet struck a fire sprinkler pipe, leading to water cascading down the banquet room, making visibility difficult. The attackers moved between tables, targeting anyone who displayed movement or made any noise. One individual was struck by a bullet that penetrated an interior wall, while another sustained injuries while attempting to escape through a glass door near the point of entry for the shooters. In a courageous act, 3 men made an effort to subdue one of the assailants but were met with gunfire. Tragically, one victim lost their life while shielding a co-worker with their own body. Farook and Malik left behind a set of 3 interconnected explosive devices at the Inland Regional Center, which were discovered inside the backpack left by Farook during the departmental event. These devices were described as pipe bombs, crafted using Christmas lights, and connected together, along with a remote-controlled car that was activated. However, due to their poor construction, the devices failed to detonate as intended. Authorities suspect that the pipe bombs were intended to target the emergency personnel who would respond to the scene. The device was concealed within a canvas bag and shared similarities with the design outlined in Al-Qaeda's Inspire magazine. Prior to the attack, some co-workers had noticed the bag, but assumed that Farook would return to retrieve it, hence they did not investigate its contents further. The initial emergency call was made at the time of the shooting, and it took 3 minutes and 32 seconds for the first police unit to respond. 2 officers from the San Bernardino Police Department, SBPD, arrived simultaneously at 11:04 a.m., followed by 2 more officers 2 minutes later. The 4 officers entered the building from the southeast side to search for the shooters. Simultaneously, another team of 4 officers, including one from SBPD and others from the Fontana Police Department, entered from the northern side to join the first team in clearing all the rooms on the first floor. At 11:14 a.m., the San Bernardino Fire Department made a Twitter post about the emergency situation on Waterman Avenue, mentioning the ongoing police operation. Roads in the vicinity were closed to traffic. Fortunately, the San Bernardino SWAT team was conducting their monthly training exercise a few miles away from the scene, enabling them to arrive within 11 minutes. Police used a battering ram to gain entry to the complex. By 11:17 a.m., the first floor had been cleared, and a secondary sweep of the building commenced 14 minutes later. While officers searched for the shooters inside the building, others provided assistance to the wounded. Initially, probation officers set up a makeshift triage center near the entrance, but relocated it across the street by 11:15 a.m. due to proximity concerns. Survivors who were drenched from the sprinkler pipe posed a challenge for officers due to their slippery condition. Injured victims were transported out on blankets and chairs, since litters and tactical stretchers were not readily available at the time. The extraction operation was supervised by an SBPD tactical medic. It took approximately 57 minutes to transport the last of the injured individuals to a hospital. In total, around 300 officers and agents from various city, county, state, and federal agencies responded to the active shooter incident. As people were being evacuated, the FBI, ATF, and the Los Angeles Police Department's counterterrorism unit were called in to provide assistance. Law enforcement were on the lookout for a black SUV used by the perpetrators to flee the scene. At 5:08 p.m., an FBI SWAT officer discovered the explosive devices that Farouk had placed. A bomb squad later individually detonated the devices, with the last detonation occurring at 8:37 p.m. Earlier, at 11:33 a.m., a roller luggage bag found in a second-floor office was mistakenly thought to be a suspicious device but was later determined to be safe by 2:22 p.m. Authorities officially declared the Inland Regional Center clear at 9:29 p.m. Law enforcement initiated a search for the suspects, and a witness provided Farouk's name to the police. They quickly discovered that he had rented a black Ford Expedition EL SUV with Utah license plates 4 days prior to the attack. Acting on information from a neighbor of Farouk's, 2 plainclothes investigators went to the perpetrator's residence on North Center Street in Redlands for surveillance shortly before 3 p.m., approximately 4 hours after the initial attack at the Inland Regional Center began. The investigators spotted Farouk's vehicle leaving the house and began to pursue it onto the freeway. Other law enforcement officers from different agencies joined the pursuit shortly after. During the pursuit, at least one fake explosive designed to resemble a pipe bomb by stuffing a metal pipe with cloth was thrown at the police. The SUV exited the freeway onto North Tippecanoe Avenue and briefly stopped at a stoplight. At this point, a pursuing officer observed the perpetrators putting on tactical vests and arming themselves with rifles. The SUV then continued onto East San Bernardino Avenue and entered a suburban area. At 3:08 p.m., the shooter in the back seat, identified as Malik, began firing at the police through the back window. At approximately 3:09 p.m., the SUV came to a stop in a neighborhood about 2 miles away from the initial attack site. Inside the vehicle, the couple continued to engage in a firefight with the police. Malik opened the side passenger door and fired at the first police vehicle that approached. Farouk exited from the driver's front door and positioned himself between the open doors, also firing at the same vehicle. As more officers arrived at the scene, Farouk moved across the street toward nearby houses, maintaining his gunfire and forcing officers to take cover behind their squad cars. Recognizing Farouk's intent to flank a sheriff's deputy, several officers adjusted their positions and concentrated their fire on him. One police officer managed to shoot Farouk in the right side, allowing others to flank him and continue shooting. Farouk fell to the ground, sustaining multiple gunshot wounds to his legs and upper body. While lying wounded, he fired a handgun at the police once, injuring an officer before the gun malfunctioned. Farouk was subsequently shot multiple times and killed. His body was then handcuffed and placed face down. Meanwhile, officers continued to exchange gunfire with Malik, who remained inside the SUV. During this exchange, another police officer was wounded. Taking cover behind a police cruiser, officers fired into the back of the vehicle while rescuing the injured officer and another one. At 3:14 p.m., Malik was fatally struck by several bullets to her body and head. The gunfire lasted for approximately 5 minutes before both perpetrators were neutralized. The police utilized Bearcat armored personnel carriers during the confrontation. Due to concerns of potential explosives in the vehicle, the Rook, a motorized battering ram with a protective shield, was employed to inspect the SUV. The sheriff's department confirmed the deaths of a man and a woman. A total of 7 police agencies participated in the final shootout, with 23 officers collectively firing at least 440 rounds. The perpetrators discharged at least 81 rounds. Residents were urged to stay indoors during the intense exchange of gunfire. Upon searching the vehicle, authorities recovered nearly 2,500 rounds of .223 caliber and 9mm ammunition, as well as medical supplies and a trigger mechanism believed to be associated with the explosives left at the Inland Regional Center. The attack claimed the lives of 14 people, ranging from age 26 to 60. According to autopsy reports released on May 27, 2016, all died from multiple gunshot wounds, mostly to their backs. 12 died almost immediately. The attack injured 22 civilians. Within approximately 15 minutes of fleeing the building, a number of individuals were transported to nearby hospitals for medical treatment. 5 of the injured were taken to Loma Linda University Medical Center, while 6 others were admitted to Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. The recovery process for the victims was lengthy, with the last individual being discharged from Loma Linda on March 3, 2016. During the intense exchange of gunfire, one police officer sustained a gunshot wound, while another officer was injured by fragments of glass or shrapnel. Both officers were struck in the thigh, and remarkably, one of them only realized he had been hit 13 hours later, underscoring the chaotic nature of the situation and the adrenaline-fueled response of the law enforcement personnel involved. In the aftermath of the shooting, Enrique Marquez Jr., a neighbor of Farouk, was investigated in connection with his purchase of the 2 rifles used in the attack. There is no record of a transfer of the weapons from Marquez to the attackers. However, he would later plead guilty to the charge. According to federal prosecutors, Farouk and Marquez conspired to commit shooting and bombing attacks at Riverside Community College in 2011, where they were both enrolled as students, as well as targeting rush-hour traffic on California State Route 91 in Corona. However, their plan was abandoned following the arrest of 3 individuals in the Inland Empire who had plotted to harm Americans in Afghanistan. On December 17, 2015, Marquez was arrested and charged in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California with 3 federal criminal counts: conspiracy to provide material support for terrorism, making a false statement in connection with acquisition of firearms, and immigration fraud. As part of a plea agreement with federal prosecutors in February 2017, Marquez pleaded guilty to charges of conspiracy to provide material support to terrorists and making false statements related to the purchase of a firearm. Marquez also acknowledged his involvement in the planned terror plots alongside Farouk in 2011, which were ultimately abandoned. On October 23, 2020, Marquez was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The San Bernardino attack left a profound impact on the local community and the nation as a whole. It sparked debates about gun control, counterterrorism measures, and the balance between civil liberties and national security. The incident further highlighted the importance of vigilance in identifying potential threats and promoting community resilience.